All right, welcome back, everyone. Amidst the growing security concerns in the country, the Progressive Governors Forum has thrown its weight behind President Bola Tinubu to address the nation's security challenges, just as it is asking governors to protect their states through community policing. Addressing journalists in Abuja after a 3-hour meeting held behind closed doors on Wednesday, the chairman of the forum and governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodimma, says the governors are equally considering the issue of state police in line with the proposal of Governor Hyacinth Alia of Benue State. Governor Uzodimma added that the forum will continue to support President Tinubu to enable him address the security challenges bedeviling the nation. Now, joining me tonight to speak on this is a lawyer and political affairs analyst, Mr. Kabiru Akingbolu. Good evening, Mr. Akingbolu, for joining us tonight.
It's a pleasure for having me on the program. Good evening, Nigeria.
So we're now seeing a very strong consensus on state policing from the state governors. You will recall that some time ago, maybe 3 weeks or 1 month ago, we saw the northern governors coming together to address, security challenges, also calling for state policing. Does this sort of signal a momentum for change?
Well, it may and it may not. It depends on from the angle you are looking at it from. If you say it's a new dawn, fine, it will be. However, how ready are the governors to allow this to take place, to take shape, to be, addressed in a proper way?
But they're the ones calling for it now.
They are the ones calling for it. They may be calling for it by just word of mouth, not by deed. For long, although the president has been one of the advocates of restructuring of Nigeria, and one of the cardinal principles of objects is that issue of state police or the issue of security earlier. But before they can do it, it cannot just be done on the drawing board like that. They must go, they have to go to the drawing board. It cannot just be done as a matter of oral policy like that. You have to go back to the Constitution. You have to amend the Constitution, because the security is on the exclusive legislative list. It's not on the concurrent or residual list. However, if you want to do this now, it's not just coming out to say, oh, state police. No, it's not as simple as that. You have to go back to the drawing board. The National Assembly will have to sit. The Senate has to pass it. The House of Reps has to pass it. They have to send it to the Houses of Assembly of the state. 2/3 of the Houses of Assembly of the state must pass it. How many of the states are ready?
I will come back to that, because that's very interesting. But yes, I wanted to stay on the issue of whether they are paying lip service to or not. One would have thought that it is at the federal level that we're seeing the dilly-dallying around this issue. For example, I would have thought that the governors are basically watching the body language of the president. It didn't seem like President Muhammadu Buhari had the right body language for state policing. He never even talked about it.
That's why.
And so perhaps they have seen that perhaps this president has the right body language and then are pushing for it.
Well, you see, there is a difference between being in power and being in government. President Buhari was in government. You understand? And again, he's somebody that he doesn't have the political will throughout. He couldn't muster that ability, that power to say, oh, let us come together and do this. And don't forget, under President Buhari, the security challenges we have now was worse than now. At least at a point, I think Boko Haram took over almost about 6 states and all that. But he was able, just before he got there, rather, he was able to revamp it, but it was still worse than now. Now, the president coming out to say, oh, we want this to happen, is a very fantastic one. We must commend the president, at least for coming out to do that. But let us see what the governors will do, because the states of each of the states of the 30 states of the federation, they are component parts of the federalism. So they must be ready to say, oh, this is what we want to do. But again, doing the state police, is it exactly what you saw our problem, or will you not be living from fry pan to fire?
I will come to that, because you have raised very key issues, and I want to also take them one after the other. The issue of the federal level, the National Assembly has to pass this for the president to assent to, and then you then move. Even before assent, you then move to the state houses of assembly. But that should be easy for the governors. In every state, the assembly is made up of members, or lawmakers from the states, and they can lobby their lawmakers. And at the state level, we know how that operates in state houses of assembly. So that should be very easy. It should be a walk in the park for them.
You see, let us, now it would appear to be, it may appear to be so, but you know, sometimes a lot of things are more complex than we think. If at the end of the day, if the state houses of assembly agree and they pass it as a law and it becomes the law, the constitution will then be amended. However, if they do that, where are we heading to? This is the problem. I'll set an example. I know for sure that we need security in Nigeria. We need to overhaul our security apparatus completely. We need to ensure that we have in place a strong, security apparatus. But then, is it through the state police alone? And if we have state police, don't forget, Nigeria is not a place where there is no law. There are laws. But how strong is our institution? As we have it today, the Inspector General of Police controls all the commissioners of police in the country. However, there is a level of control the state governors exert on the commissioners of police. It is working to an extent. However, let us cite the example of INEC and SEC. The National Assembly made a law, and INEC conducts all elections to federal, this and that, House of Assembly, federal, House of Representatives, Senate, presidential election, governorship, and so on and so forth. We see a level of sanity there. Now, the state governors, under Section 197 or so, they established SEC, State Independent Electoral Commission, and by Section 202 of the Constitution, it says no, the SEC, National Judicial Service Commission of the State and Civil Service shall exercise their power without any control from any authority or person. Now, the State Independent Electoral Commission across the state, it's only in Nigeria we have similitude of local government administration and the third tier of government. In all the states of the Federation, I have not seen it. The state governors take it over. In the state ruled by Labour Party, for instance, all the councilorships in the world will be won by Labour Party. All the local government chairman will be by Labour Party. In Lagos, you will not see any PDP local government chairman. You will not see anybody from Labour as local government chairman. This is not it. In all the state of the Federation, that's what it is. They have taken over and hijacked the process so much so that the State Independent Electoral Commission that is supposed to be independent has become a kind of an organ of the state government. If we have state police in Nigeria today, are you telling me, are we sure that the state governors are not going to use this as a political vendetta to fight political vendetta against their opponents?
Let's address the first one, the issue of, you raised a very key question about, I'm trying to remember what you said, but I know you mentioned not INEC. You mentioned the issue of abuse, which the last thing you just mentioned. And then you also talked about, it not being, is that the major solution? I'm posing it to you. The policing reforms, is that what will address all the security
challenges? It's not the major
challenges?
solution, because one, let me tell you, the DPO in a station in Aramako in Ekiti State, or in whatever state you have it in Ekiti State, maybe from Maiduguri. It may be from, Gombe State. You understand? It may be from Madagali in Adamawa or anywhere. Do you understand? He does not know anybody. I believe personally that there's tendencies of him doing more justice. That now the state police will connote the idea of saying the commissioner of police should be from the state of origin. For instance, if it's Ondo State, the commissioner of police will be from Ondo State. Some of the policemen will also be from the state. And again, when you look at some of it, there are a lot of complexity. Who pays their salary?
But objectivity,
how is it going to be?
Objectivity from, if you're not from that state, it means that you have no bias and you're objective in how, who you arrest and how you arrest.
Exactly.
But objectivity and knowledge of the terrain, which is what you get when it's somebody who is from that state. Which should come first?
Yeah. Now, both are important. As a person from that state, you have a stake. Probably, you will not want the state to spoil. At the same time also, there is a way that can also influence your decision in favor of your community, especially in some community where there are different tribes that make up the states. Like, for instance, places like Edo State. They are comprised of a lot of tribes. We are monolingual. Ekiti State is a monolingual state. Katsina is a monolingual state. I think Sokoto is a monolingual. Bayelsa is a monolingual. That all the people in the state in Bayelsa, they are Ijaw people. All the people in Ekiti State, they are the Katsina people are Fulanis. There are no tribes. Now, if they are tribes,
just a minute. But in these states you've mentioned, there are people who are perhaps, from other states, and then have come to live there. And sometimes you find them in same community. For example, if you're going to a particular state and you hear that, oh, you have someone from your state who lives in a particular area, the tendency is that you want to live around there just for safety.
Yeah.
And so even if you're monolingual and you're saying there's not going to be bias, but there are other people from other states, I mean, that issue could also arise.
Yes, it could arise. You, as a commissioner of police, whether you are from that state or you are not from that state, you have to protect everybody. It is your duty to ensure that you treat everybody fairly and equally. But then, what if human nature sets in? What happens? And again, who pays their salary? Is it the state government that will be paying it, or state government will contribute to a coffer where the federal government will distribute to the states? You understand? What is going to be the organogram of that new state police? Is everything goes to start from the state and end at the state? Is there going to be a new set of police force for each state, or is it going to be a police force for a state, a Lagos state or your state, still under the federal government police? These are the issues that needs to be addressed.
Even with commissioners of police who are not from the state where they are now commissioners, we've heard about abuse, of residents in by police, and does it really matter? Wouldn't it not be better if you wouldn't have someone from your state who treats you right, than to have someone from your state where you're scared of abuse?
Yes, I would be very happy. I would be the happiest person if you see somebody from your state who treats you well. If you see somebody from your state who doesn't, favor one person against the other. But I'll be a sad person. I'll be the saddest person to see the state police come into being and the governors hijack it and use it as a political vendetta to fight their opponent and so. We have seen it even in election. Well, you see during election, the federal government, especially those staggered election or off-season election, you see them, they will incapacitate temporarily all the state commissioner of police in those states. They will send like 2 or 3 commissioners of police, they will send a DIG, they will send 2 or 3 AIG. Like in Osun State, for instance, they will send no less than 30 to 36,000 new policemen who are not from Osun State. The Ekiti State, they will send like 30 to 36,000 policemen who are not from Ekiti State. Whereas the whole police in Ekiti State, they are far less than that number of police. Now, in fact, I know of a time that Mr. Femi Falana was like, oh, if it happens, it means that the federal government knows that is the exact number of policemen that the state needs. Because we have seen a situation that the number of policemen sent to the state is times 3. Was times 3 of the number of police on ground. But for the purpose of the election, because you are interested now, you want to protect your interests and all that, you want to pretend peace. Why don't you make these policemen to be available in terms of peace when there is no election at all? So these are the issues there.
It means that you have to employ more, and perhaps the federal government would say they do not have the capacity to pay more. But I also wanted to ask you about the issue you raised about abuse, which is what the prospect of abuse by state governors is what a lot of people are also scared of. But some have also raised issues about, look, where we are now dealing with the dynamics of the security. I mean, it's a new terrain of security challenges. We're getting names of new terror groups in the country. The attack in Benue State was disastrous and devastating. And people say, look, let's put that sentiment aside and focus on dealing with the challenge first, and then we can come back to whether, there is abuse of power or not.
And when you are building your house, you must know, it's going to be a 3 or 4 story building. You make the foundation to be very strong. When the foundation is very weak, the edifice will crumble. Now, if you start from now and say, oh, don't let us talk about that one, it is going to be the problem that will crumble the entire system. Let us take a place like Benue, for instance. There are a lot of tribes in Benue. Supposing the person who comes there is an Igala, supposing is Idoma, supposing is Tifi, because of that intertribal issues, It's not going to, it may not be very easy. If you go to places like, I think Adamawa, we have the Junkuns, we have some other, when you go there also, there are a lot of intertribal rivalries. This may cause a lot of issues. There are problems on their own. So except and of course, if the governor can play the father of all and ensure he's in charge of his state, just like you have said, it will create more employment, you understand? But then, how disciplined do you want the officers to be? What kind of control do you want to have on them? If the commission, if the state governors are the one paying them, it is going to be very, very funny. I know very well. I know Nigerian politicians. This state SIEC is a perfect example for this. And don't forget, the state SIEC, no state of the federation. Are you saying, why is it that APC is not ruling the entire state, the entire country? All the states of the country, why is it that PDP at their own time was not ruling the entire country? Why is it that Labour Party was not? But when it comes to the state, issue, it is SIEC, only one party will rule the entire local government. We have how many local governments? Even the development areas in Lagos State are not ruled by Labour Party or PDP. Go to Ekiti State, they have development areas too. They are not ruled by PDP. Everybody is APC. Go to the state ruled by Labour. It's the same thing. Go to the state ruled by PDP. It's the same thing. Are you telling me that people in those areas suddenly develop love for the people that is only your party? Meanwhile, in House of Assembly, you are not having 100%. You are having other political party members.
So I want to sort of, in terms of enhancing accountability, if this goes through, there was a State of the Nation address given by, I think it was Pastor Tune Bakari in April, and he spoke to this, and I just want to read that comment and then get your thought on it. He said, against the backdrop, we must redesign our security architecture by facilitating the formation of zonal security councils, chaired by a governor from the respective zone on a rotating basis, such as zonal security councils, which will be formed by state and local policing systems within respective zones, must be managed by non-partisan security experts, while the chairperson at each point in time will represent the zone at the National Security Council. In terms of that sort of structure, what do you make of it?
If they make that kind of structure, it will be very fantastic. However, how ready are Nigerian policemen and Nigerian governors to listen to these politicians, to agree with all this? We have beautiful ideas in the country. We have people who can be fantastic consultants on issues, who can offer fantastic ideas, fantastic logic and method. You understand? But are the politicians going to listen? Are the politicians going to follow it? Are they going to utilize the ideas, put forward? We can have a serious organization. To govern is one of the easiest things in the world, first of all. But first of all, you must be sincere with yourself. If the leader is strong, if the leader is firm, if the leader is focused and ready to work and serious, the other people will be ready to follow suit. If the governor of a state is ready to ensure that what I am concerned with is justice, what I'm concerned with is equity and fairness and equality before the law and security, enhanced terrain, it will happen. But when you start to think in terms of your political party, in terms of your tribe, in terms of your religion, and don't forget, in some of the states, like for instance, let's take the northern part for instance, and the south. Some of the agitations you have there have some religious coloration. Supposing you bring a policeman who is a member of that society, there is a way he could be inclined to supporting some sects, especially in some areas where the Christians or the other religions are in the minority. This could happen. In some other places where they are, predominantly Christian, it could also happen against the Muslim. At a point, Nigeria is a funny, at a point people will start to say, oh, the former commissioner of police was a Muslim. Why are you picking a Muslim again? Oh, in the places like Ekiti, Ondo, Ogun, and the rest of them, they may pick a Christian, and the Muslim will be saying, oh, the last commissioner of police was a Christian. We will start to tackle that problem again.
We already have that at the federal level, but I need to put you on hold, Ms. Akimbola, and then we'll come back and speak to this and more politics, even, after the break. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back on Politics Tonight.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked, and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty, erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Good morning, Marina Station and all the passengers.
Efficient, it's comfortable.
This development will go a long way in reducing congestion and emission.
The trains are a long-term solution to Lagos traffic challenges.
This is where we take the final, decisions on policies, programs of government. I will have to ensure that, the narration of Lagos as a PLC is taken very, very seriously.
This is a major pedestrian bridge linking Oyinbo here to Apapa Road over there.
With this overpass, we are providing what we call a permanent solution.
This place is one of the most dangerous areas at the biosecurity environment.
This can go into the news and every crumbs of your neighborhood.
Our goal is to remain as Africa's model megacity, to move our GDP from the 5-6 position to the 3rd position, and we believe is achievable with all the commitments we have.
Explore the city of Lagos, where dreams are made and possibilities are endless. I'm Adedoja Salam Adeniyi. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
And thanks for staying with us, everyone. You've been watching Politics Tonight. We've been speaking to an issue raised by the Progressives Governors Forum through its chairperson today, Governor Hope Uzodinma, talking about decentralizing the policing system in Nigeria. They're calling for state police. We've been speaking with Kabiru Kimbolu in the studio. He's a lawyer and political affairs analyst. We're going to touch on that just briefly, and then we'll move to the gale of defection in the country. Thank you so much for staying with us.
It's a pleasure for having me still.
So I just wanted to ask you a final question on this as we move to look at politics. Again, how important is it to delineate if they get through this or get through with this, delineate the functions of that state police and the federal police in the Constitution in a way that we do not have to start to have judicial conflicts because you have overstepped and now you have issues like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I raised earlier. That it's a very complex whole. That is to tell you that state police, even if we eventually agreed it is eventually agreed that we need state police, when they agree, that would be in principle. Now, to drive the policy will take a long time. One, we will amend the law. When you have amended the law, what is going to be the organograms? You have to start designing it, and it's not something you can just learn overboard. You have to go to some other countries and compare and contrast what are the challenges, what are the modalities, what are the hopes, what are the yearnings, what are the aspirations, what are the objectives and fundamental principles that will make it to function and work well. What are the factors that can militate against it? These are the things. When you have done this, is when you can set up the police. Who pays their salary? Who is going to be the commissioner of police? Is the commissioner of police going to be the highest hierarchy within the state without taking orders from anybody outside the state? This is it. Is it going to be a separate police? Is the state going to have its own separate police? Or they are going to draw from the personnel of the present police force to constitute the state police? Are we going to move all the on the Lagos State indigene from Maiduguri, or the Lagos State indigene from Gombe, or the Lagos State indigene from Ekiti to come and form the police state police in Lagos? Are we going to do the same thing for the people in Borno? Move all the Borno indigene from Lagos down to Borno State to form the state police in Borno? Is it going to be like that, or we are going to start afresh? We go back to the drawing board. Oh, we have a police academy we want to do. Are they then the training? Are they going to go to police academy in Kano, the police college to train, or are they going to set up their own training camp specially. It's a lot.
Mr.
So it's not
Secretary,
going, which means, what I'm trying to say is that it's not going to be an immediate thing.
But
it cannot happen this year.
It would seem that the governors want it now because of the security challenge.
It's not as possible as easy as they think.
You know, we're accustomed to tinkering with a constitution in this country, whereas in a country like the US, before you even think of an amendment to their constitution, in fact, you could be impeached for that purpose, just thinking about it.
Exactly.
So how do we set this up in a way that every year we're not coming back to amend the state policing law? Or
if you look at the American Constitution, it's as small as anything. You understand? Our one is so bulky and voluminous, yes, a lot of lacuna, you know, there. So, like you have said, we have to tinker with the, why is it that we have to tinker with our constitution every time we have an issue? We go back to the drawing board. To tell you, even if they say they want it now, it is not possible now, and I am saying it with all my mouth open. Because to go through those drawing board, I mean, those things and the modalities will take a lot of time. But if you say you want to crash the program and hurry it, any action hurried, it's an issue of security, don't forget, very delicate, very sensitive, and it requires a lot of wisdom. If you say you want to rush it, if you garbage in, you will garbage out, because it will not work. You have to plan very well. Like Abruzzi said, he who fails to plan, plans to fail. You have to plan very well so that it will not fail. And this has to take a lot of time, because it's a process. Now you have agreed. All of you have agreed we want a state police. That is stage one. How will it come about? Stage two. Then where are you starting? If you say you are starting this year, then you are heading to failure. It will not work that way.
All right, so as much as this is very interesting and I want to stay on it, but I want to look at other issues with you, which is the gale of defections in the country. We thought that it was over with the Akwa Ibom State governor, but just again yesterday we saw another defection from the PDP to the APC in Kaduna State. The former gubernatorial candidate of the PDP, Mohammed Sani Sidi, also defected to the APC. What does all of this signal to you?
First of all, when you talk about, you see, I have to be very frank there. I am not a politician, but there is something people say that gets me very angry. What has the president done? That you are saying he wants to turn Nigeria to one-party state. I don't understand. You have a wife, you are not taking care of the wife, and the wife decides to have a boyfriend. It's not good to have a boyfriend when you are still married. Exactly. But then will you now?
Not support that
no, I'm not supporting that. What I'm saying is this. If you are taking care of the woman, he may not even look at any aside thing, but by from that, what we are saying is this. The president has not said, please, everybody should come and decamp to my patio. It's not even here, but you are putting the blame on him. If somebody is not pregnant today, it is Tinubu. If somebody's wife is not pregnant today, it's Tinubu. Yes, a lot of things may not be okay, fine. But when you are not taking care of your party, when you are not doing what you are supposed to do, what has the president out of it? Focus on your problem, find an internal way of solving it and make it work. Nigerians will love it if there are other political parties to, at least compete with one another. They don't want one party state. But then you are talking about one party as if it's a deliberate policy of the president. The president has no hand in all this from what we can see. But then, if they are not finding peace where they are, they have to seek peace elsewhere, where they think there is peace. APC, all the parties in the country today, APC is still the one that is mostly at peace. Even the SDP that we talk about, they have their own internal wranglings when people like Umar Bello and the rest of them wanted to come in, when the Rufai people came in and all that. And when you are talking of defection, we have to look at the antecedents of these people. We have to look at the way, what are their political antecedents, what are their, we have to look at their character, you have to look at what they have done. Not just say, oh, they are coming in and you want to be making a drum and sound. Majorly, I am telling you, politics of survival is what most of these politicians are playing.
Exactly, because you've just raised the point. I was going to point out two politicians in the U.S. for you who perhaps are dissatisfied with their party but never left. For example, Bernie Sanders has been in the Democratic Party for years. Yeah. He has his own ideology, that has to do with more of socialism. Yeah. But he's been in that party and has never left. But he just keeps voicing what his ideology is. You have the current U.S. Secretary of Health, Robert F. Kennedy, who also wanted to run as an independent, but ended up supporting a Republican because that's his party, and refused to support a Democrat. Yeah. He supported President Trump, and now he's the health secretary. And so, is it enough a reason to say because things are some of them are governors, which is the neck of the party, you have the powers within your hand to resolve the issues.
Let me tell you something. You have just cited fantastic examples now. Let me tell you, in America, the family that belongs to a Democrat remains Democrat forever. It will be a taboo for a Bush family now to cross carpet. You can't hear that. In the UK, the Labour Party remains there, the Green Party, the Conservative, they remain what they are. Nobody leaves. Why? Because they practice politics of ideology. In Nigeria, we don't practice politics of ideology most of the time. Even during the Second Republic, Awolowo Shagari, we knew what Awolowo stood for. We know what Shagari got a party NPN stood for. We know what PRP and the rest of them stood for. We know free education for UPN. We know free health this thing for UPN. We know agricultural this thing for MPN and the rest of them. But what do we know with some political parties today? You cannot see something that is clear-cut that you say, oh, this is the ideology of PDP, this is the ideology of SDP or any other political, or APC or the like. But now today, people just decamp because, oh, they feel I'm no more safe. Because these politicians, they want to keep on being relevant. That's why you see somebody has served as a state governor for 8 years, he still wants to be an ambassador. He still wants to be a minister. You will see him even fighting more than somebody who has never been there. So when you look at some of these things, and that's why it's looking like a game for the oldies. For those who are old, even those who are saying, oh, they want to become now, like Erufai, for instance, fantastic young, brilliant guy. You understand? He said he's in SDP now. So people are saying, oh, it's a place whether it is or not, it is just an allegation. Now, what am I saying? If he is so serious about it, his son is in the House of Reps. One would have expected his son to say, oh, I'm going with my... They are so serious about all these things. But then, ideology, none. So when you say they are decamping, I don't want to believe. Let PDP put his house in order. Let SDP put his house in order. Let all other political parties, Labour Party has about 3 factions. Why? So why will people stay? The members will be going and crossing to another party. Your loss will be gained to APC. That's what is happening. It has nothing to do with the president at all. He's being forced to stay in APC or to come to APC, I think.
So you mentioned PDP and you mentioned Labour. 2 of the politicians who are now talking about coalition is Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar. Both of them are very notable politicians in this country who now have parties that are in disarray and in factions. I mean, what does this also say? That they have not been able to put that house in order and are seeking coalition?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They have not been able to. And if somebody cannot micromanage the situation, how can he macromanage it? It will be difficult. You cannot manage a home. How can you manage a local government? It will be difficult because why would Peter Obi not be able to bring peace into the party? Let me cite an example. During President Buhari's time, there was a time a lot of crisis was rocking, APC. Just a statement from the president. He said, oh yeah, all of you go and withdraw your suits. Oh yeah, Oshiomhole go and resign as the party chairman. Let us have another person. Peace return to APC at once. We will have expected Atiku to do this. We will have expected Obi to do this. It's not a must that Atiku must be the one to be the candidate of PDP. It's not a must that Obi must be the candidate of Labour Party or any other person like that. People have been saying, it's only the old people that are coming to contest. That's what it's looking like. But we have some other young people like, we have in SDP now, some good blood, some young bloods are coming to SDP. Like, if I use the word of there's this Professor Tunde Adeniran, the former Minister of Education and later Ambassador of Nigeria to Germany. He was talking about somebody that, this is not the situation when you say, only old people. I think there's a young man, Prince Adewale Adebayo. Those are young people. They are coming into politics. They are with the Erufai and in the SDP. In fact, President Adeniran said, this person is the face of younger generation in politics and all that. He has remained in the SDP. He is coming. He is saying, I'm not interested in any campaign or whatever now. I am interested in running for presidency. I want a new Nigeria. This is how to build it. If that kind of person is needed. For instance, if the SDP didn't win a political office, if anybody wants to work with him, maybe Atiku won the election, or is it Peter Obi that has won the election, or is it the APC, the President Tinubu, if he wins again, they can go, oh, come and work with us, fine. Those are the ways to do it. He has remained there. He has been steadfast. He has been focused. He has been stable. Those are the way, if that kind of person is now saying, I am leaving the political party, he may not leave the membership. He may, oh, we want to work for a new Nigeria, let me be in SDP to work with this government. That is how things are done. But for somebody who has an idea, an ambition, and you jump from this party to another party, you jump from this party to another party, I don't think we should take such people serious. The race for presidency should not be for the old people. Let new generation people, you know, like Adebayo and the rest of them, let them come in. You understand? But people who have known their faces are the ones that we've been seeing on board. So this is not supposed to be.
What for you is a prospect of this coalition?
The prospect of the coalition will depend on the quality of people that come on board. It will also depend on the understanding. Because you see, most of these people are strange bedfellows that may not function very well. In 2023, why did Obi not agree to work with Atiku to form a coalition? Why did he not agree to be the running mate to Atiku? If he had done, maybe this story might have been different today. If he didn't do it then, will he be ready to do it now? Do you understand? At a point, people were suggesting, oh, you have to be the running mate to this person and so on and so forth. Let us stop experimenting, you know, political ideology when we are not so sure of what we want. Because if you are talking of a coalition now, by this time next year now, all the candidates of the political party must have been set or almost set. Do you get? So, and by now you are still talking about we want to do coalition, we want to do mega party. You know, there's a difference between coalition and merging.
Yes.
You don't even know the one you want to do there. You must agree. You must, you know, be on the same page. Then, if there is coalition, for instance, how are we sure that personal, you know, ambitions will not cripple or will not crumble the entire arrangement? Don't forget, under Jonathan, there was the move. Then, in fact, they started this coalition thing or the merger started with the President Tinubu and his people then, but they tried to do it then. President Jonathan was just laughing at that. Do you know what he said? He said the way they came together is the way they will crumble and scatter. And truly it happened. Unfortunately, that prediction did not happen in 2015 because they went back to the drawing board. When they failed, you know, they came with a newly acquired wisdom. You know, experience of life has shown that when a man is defeated, he has more wisdom. They went back to the drawing board. How do we do it better? We have failed in 2011. This is 2015. How do we do it? We'll do it better. And they did it better and they succeeded. So these people is an experiment. It's not likely to be very strong. They have to do it on time if they are ready.
What does this also mean for the APC? Because I spoke with a member of the APC yesterday who also said that, look, the APC has its issues and it just seems to be calm on the outside, and that some members are also aggrieved and dissatisfied. And he said that there is the possibility of an implosion within the APC, and that having new members now coming from other parties who in some states are now taking over the state structures, you know, those who have been there are now, you know, at the back end watching things happen. I could also, you know, be the ingredients for an implosion.
Yes.
Do you agree with that?
There are ingredients for an implosion, but it will be 2 minus 2. It's got to what? What do you have? Or 3 plus 3 is, 3 minus 3. You are not getting anything. It's still, you remain yourself. You get 3 gain here, 3 loss here. So you are still there. If you leave a mass because they have brought somebody from another political party, like places like Delta, it happened. It happens sometimes in Kwara State too, when some people they come to this, they will give the money. And what happened immediately? The person they come to APC then in Kwara State, the man who was in APC they come to PDP and took over the structure of PDP too and contested for governorship there. They now met. So it's now like 2 against 2. You are not actually losing anything significant or fundamentally different from what you have. The membership you have gained. Many people moved en masse from PDP to APC. And now because they have come, they are taking over the structure of the party or the authority or command of the party. You feel aggrieved that, oh, we're in charge before, they are no longer going to be in charge. You move to PDP. You go and take charge there. So it's 1 minus 1. It's just as if nothing has happened at all. And don't forget, people seem to be loyal when the juicy, the cake is juicy and you are still looking at it, it's coming. Do you understand? There is hope that, oh, APC is still in power. All of them will not leave. Many people will leave, but all of them will still not leave. Some still will remain with the people that have come. Oh, let us work together. So I think APC will still gain an upper hand.
Is it Uhuru for the APC? Should they be relaxed? Because there are those who have said, just in 30 seconds, look, that you have more states now doesn't mean an automatic win for you.
No, it's not automatic win. Because you see, anybody being pursued, there is this local proverb that anybody being pursued by masquerade should not be tired, because as he is getting tired, the masquerade is also getting tired. So you are running, he is also running, keep on running. You cannot relax. It is dangerous to underrate your opponent. APC cannot go and relax. It's not yet to Uru. You have to keep on trying until you reach the promised land. That is just the truth. Although APC is not yet in promised land, but they are no longer in Egypt.
Thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure to have you on and your analysis. Political affairs analyst and lawyer, Kabiru Akimbolu. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right, that's our episode tonight on Politics Tonight. Remember that before we go, let's tell you that the views and reactions of our resource person is his and have no connection with TVC News. Meanwhile, you can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode at 1 a.m. You can also get in touch with us on our social media handles. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and on X at TVC News NG. Now, specifically for this program, use the hashtag Politics Tonight. You can also watch this episode and other episodes of this program on YouTube. It is TVC News Nigeria. Do have a great night, everyone. I am Precious Amayo.